hour. Got the hottest plays, all the breaking news. Every rumor, every trade, every breaking bruise. Tighten knuckle screws, yeah, it's going down. Have you saying what the fuck and never watered down? It's going down, I'll be rolling up. And if you buy it or you sell it, then you made the cut. Watch me flip it back, I can double up. I got sriracha for that ass, I'ma burn it up. Gotta check the rules and know that if you fair foul. Ref blow the whistle, coach throw the towel. We can do this on the field or outside the line. It's the man now we going live.
And what is up, everybody? Michael Buckheischer here with the Mike and Mike Man Hour. Before you do anything, before you start the show, hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Mike and Mike Man Hour. Hit that bell icon as well. We are also on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio as well, if you miss any part of the show whatsoever. But before we get too wrapped up in today's show, let's welcome the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mike LeBlanc.
What up? What's going on, man? How's your day?
Man, my day is freaking awesome because Thursdays, if you coach high school football, Thursdays are by far what you coach for. You get a free meal, and tonight we get Texas Roadhouse. We get steak, green beans, rolls. I can just eat all the rolls all day long and be perfectly happy, to be honest.
Like tube steak, so.
What's that?
So we all know you like tube steak, so.
Tube steak?
Yeah.
Meh. It is what it is. Robin, thank you for the like as it is coming across our Facebook page. If you guys are listening to us on Facebook, welcome as well. But head over to YouTube. We got some stuff happening over there on the YouTube channel today. We got a giveaway. We are giving away a dad hat.
What are we giving away?
We're giving away a dad hat. We have dad hats over at the MikeandMikeManHour.com, just released this morning. So you get your choice between a black, white, or gray. Or we also have army camo if you're into that type of thing as well. Man, the likes are rolling in.
Just go ahead and head over to the MikeandMikeManHour.com and go ahead and get you some merch. Get you a hat, get you a hoodie. It's wintertime. You need a hoodie.
Speaking of
better way, you need a hoodie.
Speaking of hoodie and hoodie weather, are you guys getting hit by that hurricane? Was it Zelda or Zia or whatever it is now?
Dude, I live in fucking Austin, like almost like in the middle of fucking. I live in Central Texas. No, I'm not gonna get hit by a hurricane.
Well, we are getting hit by the hurricane right now, and we live in Central America in freaking in Indiana. We got like 8 inches of rain last night.
Jesus.
And it's like, I don't know, like 30 degrees outside. It's stupid. Like, it's absolutely
2020.
So I was watching TikTok earlier, and I saw a TikTok thing. He said, what was the worst purchase of my 2020 so far? A 2020 planner. I was like,
can't use that shit.
Right. That's very, very true. So speaking
Hey, were you like everybody else, like during the whole fucking shutdown and lockdown?
What do you mean like everybody else? Like I worked the whole time.
Oh, yeah. I did too, right? I mean, I work I work online, so
right.
I work. But I mean, a lot of people that I know, they fucking like were, I'm gonna save money. I can't go out. I can't do this, and then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, I have no more money left, man. I just went kind of crazy on Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I kind of feel like we spent more money because, when you cook from home, you don't realize like how much it costs to cook from home, right? Because you got to have, like your meat, your vegetables, like you have to have like all this stuff, and it takes the gas or the electricity to cook it, the time to prep it. Like it's so much easier simply just to go to the Texas and just get food. Like honestly, it's like the dishes and stupid. Yeah.
I don't really, especially now that I'm in a fucking apartment. I really don't cook anymore. Like I just because I started looking at it and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go out and go get all these groceries, and I'm probably gonna spend about $300, $400 for the month.
Right.
So I'm like, I could probably spend about the same amount of money, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending on how much I eat that day. And I could probably spend around the same if I could just go to a restaurant or go get something to eat, and I don't have to fucking cook.
Yeah, I mean, it may not physically cost less, but the convenience factor of just eating out, it's awesome.
Oh, dude,
like you walk in there, I want this.
I probably order like pizza like once a week. Easy.
Every Friday night I have
Okay.
pepperoni and jalapeno pizza after football games.
Why do you fucking need jalapenos? What the fuck?
Because Saturday morning is filmed, so we like the jalapenos wake you up about 4:00 in the morning. If you
And
catch
then
my
your
drift,
asshole burns.
yeah, exactly.
Mm.
And it
Gotcha.
like it wakes you up, so you're never late. So let's go ahead and jump into some NFL talk, Mike. The
Favorite subject.
the trade deadline is coming. November 2nd is the trade deadline, if I'm not mistaken. And there have been some transactions that have happened. Carlos Dunlap from the Bengals has been traded to the Seattle Seahawks. Dontari Poe got cut by the Dallas Cowboys because of overweight.
I mean, he really hasn't done shit all season. He's only had one or two pressures, and I think he's only recorded like maybe 7 tackles. Get out of here. He's part of the problem. And have you noticed that the Cowboys have kind of like shed some weight? They've cut a couple people
Physically.
yeah. But they got rid of Griffin and they got rid of a cornerback. I can't remember his name. Worley, I think. They got rid of him. So they're shuffling the deck on that defense. And if things don't start to pan out, I think Mike Nolan gets his walking papers.
So why the reason why I brought up Dontari Poe, because I got to even know he played for the Cowboys too. We'll be honest. Ever since he left the Chiefs, I really haven't followed his career too much. But like looking at it, like you said, the Cowboys are trimming some fat, meaning they are making some salary cap room for people, right? Do you think they make a splash in the next couple days and get somebody to solidify that front 7 or like the front 4 even?
No, I think they go after somebody to solidify that front 4. You have to at this point. I think with Randy Gregory coming back, I think that kind of helps that front 7. But you have to get somebody. You have to make a splash. You have to get a good free agent on that offensive line. You have to. That'll get Zeke going, and that'll give Andy Dalton a little bit more time in the pocket to throw those weapons on the outside. CeeDee Lamb, Mari Cooper, Michael Gallup.
Right.
And then we have those weapons, and they're going to be really good as long as they can get the targets. But if Andy Dalton is constantly under pressure, he's not going to be able to. And in order to get the pressure off of him, number one, yes, we talked about it. You got to get a good lineman, but you got to get the run game going. The run game has kind of been absent from the Cowboys, right?
Right.
So if Zeke can start acting like a $90 million running back and start getting the yards, then that takes the pressure off of the run game, and now you can't just stack the box, or because now you're going to be worried about the run game. So and vice versa, you stack the box, now you're fucked because they'll hit you with a 15-yard slant, or with Michael Gallup they'll hit you deep.
Yeah. So I mean the Cowboys obviously are going to probably be. Let me rephrase that. They should be active in the free agent market here, and I misspoke. The trade deadline is November 3rd, not November 2nd. November 2nd is when you vote for your president and elected officials and all that good stuff. But
I voted.
What'd you say?
I already voted.
Did you? Are you an early voter? I don't believe in early voting. I don't think that's the right thing to do. I think everybody should vote on the same day.
I voted. I mean, we got busy lives, man.
True. But speaking of busy lives and whatnot, obviously the Packers were too busy in the draft to draft a receiver. Now the talks are they are interested in some Houston Texans receiver. Randall Cobb's name has come up. If you guys did not know, Randall Cobb did play for the Green Bay Packers about 3 years ago, right? I think was when he officially left. And they're also interested in Will Fuller the 5th as well. Mike, do any of those receivers make the Packers a Super Bowl caliber team? Super Bowl lock, I should say.
I think they're already a Super Bowl caliber team. If you want my honest opinion, I think it just solidifies it a little more. I like Randall Cobb back to Green Bay. I really do. It reunites him with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, they had amazing chemistry when Randall Cobb was there. It was Devontae Adams who came in and kind of took the number one role from from Randall Cobb,
Right.
and he left. He wanted a number one spot, but I think Randall Cobb has been around. He was with the Cowboys, and playing that number two spot, and like kind of I think he kind of understands his role as a number two or a slot receiver now. So to go back, I think I mean, with Aaron Rodgers, I think he's fucking dangerous in the slot, and you know the Packers have a hard time putting it in the end zone when they're in the red zone.
Yeah, so I mean, speaking of trying to find the end zone, Julio Jones is not very good at finding the end zone. If you had any knock on Julio Jones whatsoever, is he cannot find the end zone, and like when it comes time for crunch time, he shits the bed. He cannot win you a game. Rumors are starting to surface now from the Atlanta Falcons camp here that Matt Ryan and Julio Jones will not trade either of those. But should the team like a Packers make a play for a receiver like Julio Jones?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Julio Jones. The only thing, if let's say the Packers get Julio Jones, he's gonna have to understand, like Randall Cobb. He's gonna have to understand that you are gonna be that number two receiver. You're gonna be that slot receiver on the Packers. Devontae Adams is the number one receiver. Period. On the Packers.
So Jameson over here on the YouTube channel is chiming in on the chat here. He says there's a 0 chance that will ever happen, but then I come back and like ask him at what point do the Atlanta Falcons cut their losses, trade Matt Ryan, trade Julio Jones, and tank for Trevor, right? At what point?
I mean,
do
they're
you do that?
definitely in the running at 1-5, right?
Yeah, 1-5 right now.
So they're definitely in the running. I mean, look, Trevor Lawrence is going to be a fucking special talent in the NFL. And dare I say Peyton Manning is.
So we were going to say this for the after hours, but let me ask you about Trevor Lawrence. He has come out and basically said, like, I'm going to pick and choose where I play in the NFL, and if the Jets get the first overall pick, I'm going to go back to like school. Do you think that's wise from Trevor's spot there?
I mean, it's like Eli Manning, right? Eli Manning didn't want. Who did he get drafted by?
Was it the
The
Chargers?
Chargers, right? The Chargers, and they ended up making a trade for Drew Brees, and then he went to the Giants.
Right.
I mean, I think you might see something like that again. I don't think I think he's just kind of putting it out there that I don't want to go to a shitty team. I don't want to be, I don't want to be all the Cleveland Browns quarterbacks in the past. I don't want to be a Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, in my opinion, is a special talent too. He's just with a very shitty team.
I don't think the Bengals are that bad. They don't know how to win yet. I mean,
Yeah.
give them next year with the same core of players. Like, you'll be perfectly fine, I think.
But I mean, I think Trevor Lawrence just doesn't want to go to where his career will be fucking wasted.
So let me ask you this: when you are the quote best player in all college football, right? You typically go to the worst team because that is how you make parity in the NFL, the draft, yada yada yada. So what you're saying is Trevor should tank for the rest of the season, right? I mean, he should tank his junior year and become a mid-second round pick so he can go to the Patriots or to the Cowboys or wherever he wants to go, right?
I think if the Jets end up having a number one overall pick, I think they're happy with Sam Darnold. I really do. I don't think they go after a quarterback. Now, if they're the number one pick, I do think they definitely will entertain trades for that number one
You have
overall.
to, because if Sam Darnold is your guy, you have to say, hey, we are going after Trevor, and a team like who is going to need a quarterback that is up there. Let's say the 49ers, are pick 4 or 5, right? They are going to make a reach. They're going to make a play for the Jets. Like, hey, we'll give you our first round pick.
There's a couple teams. I mean, even the Jaguars. The Jaguars can make a play for the number one to go after Trevor Lawrence. The Falcons. Who else? The Vikings.
Pretty much everybody that's not in the playoff race right now, I think, has a legitimate idea of getting Trevor Lawrence. I mean,
Yeah.
he is a bust prospect that is going to get first overall draft pick in the NFL. He'll be petering around for a couple of seasons, and then like he will fade away off into the sunset.
You
But
think so?
dude, so the more I listen to him talk with like interviews and that kind of thing, his play on the field, he is a special talent. I'm not taking that away from whatsoever. In college, he is a special talent. You know who was also a special talent in college? Ryan Leaf, Vince Young.
It's very true.
What happened to those two guys? They didn't know how to lose. So when they went to the worst teams in the NFL because they were the best players in college, they didn't know how to lose. So when you don't know how to lose, you don't know how to grow from that, right? So like that is kind of like, like I teach my kids young, like, hey, you are going to fail at life. It is about how you bounce back from that. And when people like Trevor Lawrence have never failed, like he's lost like a total of like 4 games his whole football career, he doesn't know how to lose, right? So if you go to the Jets and he is 0-8, how is he going to respond? I think he is going to, it is going to crumple on him, and he is going to do a Vince Young thing and kind of just disappear off the face of the earth.
Could. I don't think so. I think we're witnessing possibly another Peyton Manning in Trevor Lawrence.
Which I hope you are 100% correct. Like I never try to wish ill will on like anybody, but my eyes and my gut tell me something else. And speaking of eyes and gut, we didn't bring this up when we were talking about the Green Bay Packers, but your boy Des Bryant throw up those X's.
Throw up that X. Let's go.
Why didn't the Packers go after
Ravens?
Why didn't the Packers go after him?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you're out there looking for a wide receiver, obviously because he tore his Achilles, he's been out of football for a couple of years. I get that, but Des Bryant in the red zone is very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. He's not going to be that downfield threat anymore like he was early in his career with the Cowboys.
Right.
But when you're at the 30-yard line and on going into the red zone, Dez is dangerous, especially getting the ball after those yak yards. He's very dangerous. We talked about it before the season started that I thought that the Packers should go after AB or Dez Bryant. I would have fucking been so happy if would have went to the Green Bay Packers.
As the closet Packers fan comes out in full force now.
Don't make me go get my Aaron Rodgers jersey.
You can on the after hours because Combs, I'm sure, is be wearing his Bear jersey.
I'm gonna wear my Aaron Rodgers jersey.
So over here on the YouTube channel in the comment section, Jameson brought up a great question to ask you, Mike. How long does Des Bryant be on the practice squad before he's on the active roster for the Baltimore Ravens?
2 weeks.
Yeah, I say give him after the Steelers game, and he'll be on the roster next Tuesday.
I think so. I mean, I think they signed him to the practice squad, so it doesn't take up a roster spot while he's going through all the COVID and he's learning their playbook and everything like that. Because I guarantee he's not fucking taking practice squad snaps.
Well, I bet you he is because we saw what happened with the New Orleans Saints. He jumped right in after being off for 9 months, was it, and tore his Achilles like third play into the game. So the Ravens are hoping that that Achilles healed, and so that's probably why he is on the practice squad.
I think we see him on the field in 2 weeks in the game
with Des Bryant at a receiver. Does that make the Baltimore Ravens any better, though?
I think so. The Ravens have had trouble scoring in the red zone this season, and I think that's one of the main reasons why they brought in Des Bryant for more conversions in the red zone.
Right. Which when you pick,
and I think that's all he's there for. Honestly, I think that's all Des Bryant is there for, is to give them a better chance in the red zone to score.
See, the only thing that I'm afraid of is, like, I'm not worried about the Ravens getting hot and winning a Super Bowl whatsoever. What I'm worried about is Dez Bryant bringing that ego that he had from Dallas the last couple years, saying this is my team. Give me the ball.
I think he's been humbled by being out of football, and just looking at some of his tweets, like, I just need a chance.
I mean,
I want a chance.
Everybody needs a chance, but once you gain that chance, you always the old saying says is you always fall back into your ways.
Was so big, like, I'm Dez Bryant. How come I'm not fucking playing football? You know what I mean? And I think he's been humbled by not playing football.
So, Jameson and you are saying that the Ravens picked them up for red zone situations, but you've also said it that Dez is not the receiver that he was in Dallas. What made him so good in Dallas was he could go up and get the ball. Can he still do that? I mean, like, that's the only question that I have is, can he still jump up and moss people? Like, I think that's the biggest question.
I think he can, and I think he's going to.
Well, only time will tell, but let's transition to fantasy football here real quick. As the Man-Hour League, we are going into Week 8 here, and it's Vaughn like Donkey Kong is 6-1, leading the way with Cowboy Nation in second place.
Let's go.
Let's go. And old Buck Nasty is falling down to 6th place. Jameson jumped up to 5th place, and then Steve got his first win last week, beating me 55-33. So we all need a little bit of advice in fantasy. So after the break, guys, we're going to bring on Matt McPeak from Kicking or Sticking Fantasy Football Podcast, and he is going to give you some advice for tonight's game. So stay tuned here on the Mike and Mike Man Hour. Head over to mikeandmikemanhour.com. Check us out. Pick up some merch. After the break, Matt McPeak from Kicking or Sticking Fantasy Football. We'll be right back. Hey, Mike.
Okay.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeister here with the one and only Matt McPeak from Kicking or Sticking Fantasy Football Podcast. Matt, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. I'm excited about this week. A lot of close games that we should see on Sunday, so I'm excited, man.
Yeah, if it's any indication of Week 8, if Week 7 is any indication of how Week 8 is going to be, we're in a very good position here. Week 7 was quite arguably one of the most exciting football weeks I could recently remember.
Up, is it?
Yeah, there's a lot of good games. The one thing about this week that I wish they would change, we get Steelers-Ravens at 1 o'clock, but then at Sunday night we get Cowboys-Eagles. Why can't the NFL just say, we're going to put the real game at Sunday night. We'll put the two trash teams in the beginning.
What?
Yeah.
These are two playoff-bound teams in the Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. The winner is going to make it to the playoffs and get a first-round playoff win. But we'll discuss that come Week 16, Week 17. But before we get too carried away, Matt, where can people find your show?
So it's the Kicking or Sticking Fantasy Football Podcast. You can get us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Audible, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can get podcasts. I'm also on the RTF Network, Sports Network, at 6 o'clock on Fridays, which as of November 1st will actually be all-access sports network. So make sure you check us out come November 1st. And, the live show is on Fridays at 6, but I release the podcast Thursday night, so you should be able to get it Friday morning wherever you get podcasts.
All right, guys. As always, Matt is here to talk a little bit of Thursday night football with us here on this Thursday afternoon. We do have the Atlanta Falcons 1-6 taking on the Carolina Panthers 3-4. A Carolina Panthers team that I think is pretty good. But from a fantasy standpoint here, Matt, how do these two teams stack up moving forward?
So both teams have a lot of good players. Atlanta has arguably, one of the best pairs of wide receivers in the league with Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. But the Panthers have a pretty good duo themselves. Robbie Anderson coming over from my New York Football Jets, and the DJ Moore, who has kind of taken somewhat of a backseat this year. He hasn't seen the same target share that he saw last year, but they've been playing much better. Like you said, I think they're one of those surprise teams that at the end of the year, especially with the added playoff spot this year, I would not be surprised at all if the Panthers end up making the playoffs. But these are two teams that just met in Week 5. The Panthers actually hit as my road dog of the week in Week 5. I'm now 7-0 with the road dog picks after the Steelers won last week. So definitely check out the podcast. Let's see if I can keep the road dog of the week going. This week's pretty tough. I don't know if you've looked at the lines, but it's going to be tough this week. But yeah, that game was one of the few games where Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore both had really good games. Anderson caught 8 of his 12 targets for 112 yards. And then DJ Moore had 4 catches on 5 targets, but he had 93 yards and a touchdown. So both played really well in that game. The Falcons are 5th right now in fantasy points allowed to wide receivers. So I think they are definitely both must-starts this week. You know, it's always a little scary playing a guy on Thursday night because you never want to, start a dude who's going to get you 2 or 3 points. Then you got to look at that all weekend long. It's never any fun, but my favorite player for this game, for the Panthers at least, is Mike Davis. He had 16 carries and 10 targets in that Week 5 game. He ended up with 149 total yards with 9 catches and a touchdown. That was probably, one of the top 12, top 15 wide receiver stat lines, but he also had, those 16 carries. It's a hell of a day for a backup running back. The Falcons have been tough against running backs in the ground game, but in the passing game, they've been torched by running backs catching the ball. Week 1, Chris Carson caught 6 passes for 2 touchdowns. Week 2, Ezekiel Elliott caught 6 balls. Week 4, Aaron Jones caught 5 and had a touchdown. And then Week 7, rookie DeAndre Swift had he caught 4 passes. So Mike Davis should have another good game here. Only thing is, there's whispers and rumblings that Christian McCaffrey might be able to suit up for this game. Those home running backs on Thursday nights always get the edge. I don't know how much work they're really going to give Christian McCaffrey if he were to play. Honestly, I'm going to be very surprised if he actually does play. Mike Davis has been playing great for them, so there's really no rush in getting McCaffrey back, especially to his normal workload. They just gave him a huge contract extension in the offseason, so I think they work him in very slowly. So I really like Mike Davis. I think he continues to make a bunch of really good plays, and I think he's seen the most targets among running backs, maybe behind only Alvin Kamara. So he's been great for us fantasy owners. For the Falcons, we're obviously playing Julio and Calvin Ridley, like I said. Hayden Hurst, though, I'm torn on what to do with him. He's had 2 good games in a row now, but the Panthers have actually been pretty tough against tight ends. They've allowed the 5th fewest receiving yards to tight ends. And in Week 5, Hurst had 8 yards on 2 catches against the Panthers. So if you have other options, I would definitely consider looking at those other options first. Todd Gurley has been a good, as good of an RB2 as we could have asked for coming into this season. I really thought coming into the season that we'd see him be used more as a pass catcher, but the targets just really haven't been there. But the carries have. He's averaged over 17 carries a game. He's scored in all but 2 games. He's got 7 touchdowns on the season already. And this is a great matchup. The Panthers have allowed the 5th most rushing yards to running backs, and only the Texans have allowed more rushing touchdowns. So Gurley is definitely a start here in fantasy football for sure. I would try and trade Todd Gurley, though. If you have him after this week, I would trade him. Honestly, I'm not saying just get rid of him, but you should definitely think about taking whatever you can get, because he's got Denver and then he's got a bye over the next 2 weeks, right? And then he's got 2 matchups with the Saints, who are a top 10 rushing defense. And then they have the Buccaneers in Week 15. And you do not want to get stuck counting on Todd Gurley in that matchup with the Buccaneers. They have been by far the best run defense in the league so far. So sell high on Todd Gurley after this week. Hopefully your fantasy leagues have a trading deadline that's open past, this Monday or Tuesday or whatever.
Right, yeah, that is great advice with Todd. looking at the schedule moving forward, I mean, like I was actually going to ask you that. Should you get rid of Todd? And you answer that question before I could even answer that. That's some great advice there, guys. Definitely take note of that.
But for this game, though, make sure you hold on to him through this game because it really is an awesome matchup. It's one of the best matchups in fantasy football, really, against this type of running back who's really not going to get used all that much in the passing game, but should see a solid 20 carries. There are a couple props for this game. One of them includes Todd Gurley. So, first of all, I'd love to take Mike Davis's over on receptions if you can find it, but I haven't seen it on FanDuel Sportsbook or DraftKings, probably because of that uncertainty surrounding Christian McCaffrey and whether or not he's going to play and all that. But if you are able to get on it, honestly, I would go over anything less than 8. So I'd count on at least catching 7 balls in this game. But the one I think I like the most is Todd Gurley's rushing yards, over 63.5 right now. Gurley had over 100 yards rushing in Week 5 against the Panthers. I think he tries to make up for that horrible play last week when he scored instead of kneeling at the 1 yard line to lock in the win there. So I think he has another big game against the Panthers here in week 8, I think. Yeah,
going to week 8.
Julio Jones didn't play in that Week 5 game, but he's caught 8 balls in each of the last 2 games now. So I kind of like Julio over 5.5 receptions. They're calling for some crappy weather as of right now in Charlotte for this game, some wind, some rain. So that would definitely help our Todd Gurley prop, but it would probably hurt the Julio Jones prop. So, just keep that in mind. Look at the weather before the game if you are considering jumping on that Julio Jones prop.
Yeah, I mean, like as always, Matt, you give some of the best advice out there, to be honest. And I actually wrote down because I do have Todd Gurley on my team, and I actually been trying to move him for the last couple weeks, but I haven't had really that good trade partner by any means. But let me ask you about a running back that is not in this game, but on the Kansas City Chiefs, and Le'Veon Bell. I picked him up on the waiver wire two weeks ago. Do you think I should hang on to Le'Veon Bell moving forward?
Yeah, 100%. We don't know how the situation is going to shake out. We don't know who's going to get what type of work. The thing with running backs, and especially if this is a PPR league, right?
Right.
Yeah, so Andy Reid's offense is one of the most running back-friendly offenses in the league. You go back for the past 15, 20 years, you look at any running back that he's had, they're usually pretty damn good. And even if they're not, super talented guys, they're still productive because of the situations that he puts them in. If Le'Veon Bell really was signed to be kind of their goal line back and to be the guy that they can count on to catch passes, he's going to have plenty of value in a PPR league. Let's say he gets 5 to 6 targets a game, and he gets those goal line carries, which Clyde Edwards-Helaire has not been all that great with this year.
Right.
We saw last week he actually dropped a ball in the red zone. So I have Le'Veon Bell in a half PPR league, and I've been holding on to him all year long. I'm not happy about it in the 2 leagues that I have Clyde, but the 1 league that I have Le'Veon, it's a good thing. So yeah, I would definitely hold on to him. And if you are nervous about him, because it has been a couple years for him where he's just been a average to below average running back, really, when you take away the fact that he was seeing so many targets with the Jets. He hasn't been the same kind of running back that he was with Pittsburgh. So I would understand the hesitation as far as keeping him and especially getting him into your lineup. And in a PPR league, I think I would give it a week or 2 and see how it shakes out, see exactly how much work he gets. But yeah, I would definitely hold on to him. He's a good stash over these next couple weeks, and he could turn into as solid of a number 2, possibly even a number 1 if he's really going to see 7 targets a game and maybe 10 carries. We'll see what happens with it.
Right. So I actually do have a question to ask you from one of our viewers. They said they have both Le'Veon Bell and Clyde Edwards. Who would you start?
I would probably still start Clyde. Maybe I'm biased because I took him in the first round of 2 leagues, but he's the younger back. They drafted him in the first round for a reason. They traded for Le'Veon Bell in week 7 and not in the offseason for a reason, right? They got him at the cheapest they could. They didn't even trade. They signed him. What am I talking about? I would still go with Clyde. I think he's still going to be on the field. He's going to see more snaps, but we'll just have to monitor it and see what happens. Honestly, for that person who has both, you either look at it like you have a handcuff to the one guy. If one of the two gets hurt, you're going to have a stud running back the rest of the year.
Right.
Or you can look at it as whichever one of them has the first blow-up game, whichever one of them has, a 15 to 20-point game. If you can find somebody in your league that is hurting at running back, that maybe has somebody that's injured,
Who is
trying to think of a yeah, exactly, right? There's so many of them. But yeah, maybe you can use them as a trade piece. Or honestly, dude, there's a good chance that we might be able to start both of them on the same team because of the state of running back right now. You might be able to get away. It's kind of like a Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt situation where you literally do have a solid number 1 running back and a solid number 2 running back on the same team. So it's like you hear with the coach when they have 2 good quarterbacks and they don't know which one's
right.
The better. It's a good position to be in. So that person should just be patient and wait to see what happens. And if you can trade one of them, make sure you get good value for them. But that person might end up in a situation where they can play both of them.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a double-edged sword, like at that point, kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. But, guys, we are speaking with Matt McPeak from Kickin' or Stickin' Fantasy Football Podcast. You can find him here on the All Access Sports Network on Friday afternoons is when his show airs. He gives you fantasy advice and prop bets as well, and he gives some very good betting advice as well. As you said, you are 7-0 with Road Dogs of the Week. Who is your Road Dog of the Week this week?
I haven't locked it in yet, but I'm looking at 2 teams. One's coming off of a big win. One's coming off of a pretty bad loss. So I'm gonna keep that one in my back pocket. Make sure everybody tunes in for it. But yeah, man, 7-0 with the Road Dogs of the Week, and I think 5 of them have won outright. So if you were to take that team on the money line as opposed to the spread, you're making even more money. Last week was the worst week I had overall with my podcast picks. One of my TD scorer props that I picked, Aaron Jones didn't end up playing, so that kind of screwed me off the bat. But I'm still at, I think, 59% overall. So I look at 9 bets every week. It's 3 picks against the spread. It's that Road Dog of the Week. It's an over and an under, and then and then my 3 TD scorer props. So yeah, man, get in on it. Check out the podcast. See if you like my picks or not. And like I said, that Road Dog of the Week has been hitting for us every week. So see if we can keep this going.
Yeah, and I will be tuning in Friday because my picks so far this year, I'm sitting at about 47% on my overall picks. I'm just not doing very good this year on my picks, unfortunately. But it is what it is. That's why I tune into your show because I'm going to need some advice moving forward so I can beat Mike LeBlanc in our little man-hour bet that we have here. But, Matt, as always, thank you for joining us, man. We'll talk to you next Thursday. Any closing thoughts before we let you head out?
Closing thoughts. Yeah, the NFL trade deadline is coming up. I believe it's this upcoming Tuesday. So, there's a couple players that could be traded. I know there's already been a couple defensive players traded. I believe Everson Griffin was traded to the Lions. I know the Jets traded away a defensive tackle to the Buccaneers. But there's a couple players that could get dealt away, and that could really open the door for guys on that player's previous team, and it can really hurt guys on their new teams. This Antonio Brown situation and Chris Godwin being hurt and Mike Evans being so inconsistent. The Buccaneers wide receiving situation is extremely volatile. And we might see a couple other players move around and hopefully it doesn't screw too much stuff up. But I would definitely keep an eye on that trade deadline. And when you see a team get traded, really take a look at the 2 teams that the team he used to be on, the team that he's now on, and see what fantasy impact it's really going to have, because it can really, it can make a big difference. And one guy, I want to get his name out because he was a big target on the waiver wire this week, JaMychal Hasty. I saw him have a couple carries. I think it was like week 3 or week 4, and he looked the most explosive back on the team. And like we were saying with Andy Reid and how his offenses are so running back friendly, the 49ers are like that too. And I really think this kid is going to become the next guy for the 49ers. I think it's going to be him and Mostert to close out the year, and I think maybe even next year he's the next guy up as far as the running back touches go. I know we just saw Jeff Wilson have a really good game, but it looks like he's going to be out close to a month now. So it's JaMychal Hasty's time, and I think he's gonna take it and run away with it. So keep an eye on that dude. If he was not picked up in your leagues, if he was not added on the waiver wire, go out and get him, because I think he's going to be great.
Alrighty, Matt. As always, thank you for joining us. Guys, be sure to check in, kick in or stick in, Fantasy Football Podcast on the All Access Sports Network, or you can find him on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio as well. Matt, we'll talk to you next Thursday, man. You have a great weekend.
You do the same, man. Thanks a lot.
All right, guys, we'll be right back here on the Mike and Mike Man Hour after this little quick commercial break. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeister here with Mike and Mike Man Hour, live, raw, and uncut sports talk. Mike, welcome back after the break here. Matt sometimes gets a little long-winded, but he does have great fantasy advice. He does have a lot to offer. I mean, he's helped me out a little bit. I traded Tom Brady for Le'Veon Bell.
You're not in a good place, so I don't know how good his advice is if you're taking it.
Well, I just started taking it because I was 4-0 and then I dropped my last 3. So yeah. Hey, speaking of losing, you still lost to Cindy. I'm just
fuck that. Okay, whatever.
All right, guys. So let's go ahead
and the playoffs. There's still the playoffs, Cindy.
We're talking about practice now. We're talking about playoffs. Playoffs. Come on now. But hey, speaking of two teams that could possibly not make the playoffs, we do have the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Carolina Panthers tonight. First things first, Mike, before we get into the who wins this game and who doesn't win in the game, the Carolina Panthers are starting to come on pretty good, right? They are starting to look like a pretty solid team. If a injury can ever help a team so much, it has definitely helped the Carolina Panthers because they learned how to play without arguably the best running back in the league. When Christian McCaffrey comes back next week, facts are facts.
Watch your mouth.
When Christian McCaffrey comes back next week for the Carolina Panthers, are you scared of them? Are they going to make a run in the playoffs?
I'm not scared of them. I'm still not sold on Tyrod Taylor. I'm really not.
You mean Teddy Bridgewater?
Teddy Bridgewater, sorry. Yeah. I'm not sold on Bridgewater yet. They are 3-4 right now.
Yes.
Right? I almost feel like, well, I mean, not almost. Like, I do feel like the quarterback is the most important position on the field. And just because your running back goes down doesn't mean that, you should kind of slow down, right? I think Tyrod Taylor is much like
Teddy Bridgewater.
Much like Dak Prescott. He is just a game manager. He is not one of those quarterbacks that is just going to, boom, I'm going to put this team on my shoulders, and we are going, I don't care who gets hurt. I'm going to put the team on my shoulders, and we're going to go out, and we're going to go win this game regardless. I don't give a shit, right? I do think bringing Christian McCaffrey makes them a better team, right? Because now you got to be scared of the run. I mean, right. Christian McCaffrey, yes, I know I give you shit. He is arguably one of the best running backs in the league. He's top 3. Number 1 and number 2. Number 1, Zeke. Number 2, Christian McCaffrey. Number 3, Saquon Barkley. Number 1 and number 2 are interchangeable. And that can be in, a different discussion. But I don't I'm not scared of Carolina with Christian McCaffrey coming back. I still think they're an 8-8, 8-8, a 9-7 team. I think they do squeak by and get in the playoffs. But here's the thing with a team like that gets into the playoffs, those are the teams you got to be scared of because hey, we weren't supposed to be here. We got nothing to lose.
Right.
So we're just gonna go out there. You know what I mean? Those are the teams that you got to be scared of, other than the 12-4, the 13-3 teams that hey, we belong here.
We're supposed to be here, right?
Yeah. The teams that you're not supposed to be there, those are the teams you got to be scared of. I mean, the Eagles did it. The Eagles ran the table and with a backup quarterback went all the way and won the Super Bowl. And I think they squeaked in the playoffs at 9-7 or 8-8 that year.
Yeah, I believe it was 8-8 because they had to win the final game of the season versus the Cowboys to get into the playoffs. I think the winner of that game was getting into the playoffs. But a comment came across the screen says, "Are you scared or are you not?" Because previously you said you weren't scared, but then you said if they sneak into the playoffs, you are scared
No.
of them.
I'm not scared of Carolina in the playoffs. I'm scared of any team who squeaks into the playoffs that, hey, we're not supposed to be here.
All right, so hopefully that clarified that question over there in the YouTube chat there. If you guys are not following us on YouTube, you should. Head over to youtube.com/Mike and Mike Man Hour. Hit that subscribe button and the bell icon, and you'll get a little notification every time we go live. We are live Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. East Coast time, and the after hours as well, 10 p.m. East Coast time is when that is on. So
I'm going to be on there tonight.
We are. And
Mike's going to be there tonight, so you know it's going to be a good time.
If you guys listen to Tuesday's After Hour, it went left real freaking fast. And it wouldn't surprise me if it went left again and then back right and then back left again tonight. But
probably.
But the Atlanta Falcons are playing the Carolina Panthers tonight. The Falcons are 1-6. Carolina Panthers are 3-4. I think the Atlanta Falcons season is completely over. There is no chance they're going to come back and rattle off 8 wins in a row or 9 wins in a row to make a playoffs berth by any means. But the Carolina Panthers, this is kind of a must-win game for them, I think, moving forward. Because this is the last game without Christian McCaffrey. This is a division game. I believe they've already. Did they? I can't remember if they beat Carolina earlier in the season. No, they lost to Carolina earlier in the season, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
this is definitely a must-win game without Christian McCaffrey. That puts them at 500 without Christian McCaffrey, and that's without a stud like Christian McCaffrey, that's the best you can really hope for is to be at least 500 when he comes back.
Right. So,
but I think after tonight, I think Carolina is going to be 3-5.
So it's time for those picks. And Mike obviously has picked the Atlanta Falcons to beat the Carolina Panthers. Why do the Falcons beat the Panthers?
I feel like the Falcons just feel fucking disrespected, and rightfully so. I mean, you every game that they've been in, they've led, and then they've blown the lead.
Right.
Almost every single game. I don't think they do that this week. I think they get up and they stay up, and they don't. See, and the reason why they got up and then they lost their lead, it's almost like coaching staff took their foot off the pedal.
Yeah.
They kind of slacked up a little bit.
Don't have that killer instinct, right?
Yeah. I think now that they fired Dan Quinn, I think they have that killer instinct, and they're getting it back. You could definitely tell last week. They're getting that killer instinct back, and I think they get up early and then they just don't let up. I have this game 28-14.
So, looking at this game, looking at the Atlanta Falcons' past games, they have played teams that could score points in a hurry, right? They played the Cowboys, they played the Detroit Lions. Well, you can say what you want, but the Detroit Lions, they have a quarterback that can put points up on the board quickly. They played the Vikings lock as well. So they have played teams that put up points quickly. So they kind of a false sense of security, right? I look at the Carolina Panthers, and I don't think they can put up points in a hurry.
No.
Like you said, Teddy Bridgewater is like an Alex Smith-esque type of quarterback. He is going to methodically nickel dime you down the field. Throw the open route, yada yada. Not force stuff. Not win you the game, but not lose you the game either. So with that being said, if your fruition is like true, the Falcons do jump out to an early lead, to an early big lead. I'm talking over 14 points. I think that game is going to be over at that point in time. But that Carolina defense is kind of sneaky good. I watched them play against the Saints, and they held the Saints to, 27 points, I believe it was. 27-23 was that final score.
Yep.
A pretty good, let's be honest, the Saints are pretty good offense. Pretty good
I mean,
defense
it's Drew Brees at the helm.
Yeah, and their defense is just as good. I believe they are ranked top 10 in the NFL right now. So I think the Carolina Panthers are going to do what the Tennessee Titans did to the Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs. They are going to play keep away. They want to keep Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, all those guys off the field.
I'm going to say this, and there's probably going to be some people that disagree with me, and if you disagree with me, fine, fuck you. I don't care. The Atlanta Falcons, their offense isn't garbage.
No. I mean, when you put up 40-plus points in a game, I mean, you can't be garbage.
They can put up points real quick. And the run game is no slouch either.
With Todd Gurley at the helm, he's starting to get in game shape. Yeah.
I still think Matt Ryan throws a pick or two. One's going to be a pick six. But I have this game 28-14. And I think Atlanta jumps out early, and as long as they don't take their foot off the gas, they'll ride this game all the way through. And at the end of the night, Carolina will be 3-5.
So let me piggyback on what you said. I think the Atlanta Falcons are a good team on paper. They have a great offense. Their defense isn't horrible. They drafted well on their defensive side. Their weakest link is the coaching staff. Let's be honest.
Poorly coached.
They're that special team coach and Dan Quinn should have been fired after the Dallas Cowboys game. When you do not properly
standing there looking at a ball like, oh, it's an onside kick. Oh. Yeah, you should have been fired.
At that point, right then and there, Arthur Blank is the owner of the Falcons, if I'm not mistaken. Should have cleared house right there. Everybody's gone. How do we not put our team in position to when we're up? What's the score, like 40-17 or whatever it was? It was something ridiculous, right? The Cowboys come back and won that game. House should have been cleared then. If they would have cleared house then, this would have been the 5th week with the new coaching staff, and I think the Atlanta Falcons could quite possibly have been making noise in the playoffs because they just don't have that killer.
I think they're a 500 team right now for sure.
Yeah, but I'm saying like they are not 1-6, right, or 1-5. Either way, I think the Carolina Panthers are a little bit better coached. Matt Rule is a rookie head coach. Yes, he's still learning the ropes, yada yada yada, but it's still Thursday night football game. You are at home, so I think the edge goes to the Carolina Panthers because they're at home. Yes, it's a division game like as well on top of that. So Panthers and Falcons are like a little bit more hyped. Give me the Carolina Panthers tonight, 21-17.
Ooh,
it's going to be a low-scoring, close game.
Let's remind the people if y'all are picking, y'all are betting. If you're betting, men and women out there, let's go to the stat card real quick. Buck, what are you? What is your?
I am below 46%, like 45.5%, and you are sitting around 62%.
I'm 62% now.
So okay. Yeah, so Mike definitely has the better picks, but on Thursday night picks, let me pull it up here real quick on the Excel sheet. You've gotten 2 Thursday night games right.
Okay.
So give or take there, right?
This will be number 3.
This will be number 3. All right, guys. That is going to be it for the Man Hour today. Mike has the Falcons winning. I have the Panthers winning tonight. We had some fantasy advice. Julio Jones probably isn't going to the Packers, but it would make sense, right? It would definitely make sense. But, Mike, any closing thoughts before we head out?
Yeah, man, when you're watching the game tonight and you're drinking, be careful. Don't be driving drunk. Everybody, as always, love each other. Peace, love, and happiness. Y'all have a great day going into the weekend. Love y'all. Cheers, fuckers.
Have a great day, y'all.
All the breaking breaking news. Every rumor, every trade, every breaking bruise. Tighten knuckle screws, yeah, it's going down. Have you saying what the fuck and never watered down? It's going down, I be rolling up. And if you buy it or you sell it, then you made the cut. Watch me flip it back.